Il raconte qu'avec sa gueule, on lui a vite fait comprendre qu'il ne jouerait jamais les héros. Ça tombe bien, John Turturro transcende les personnages tourmentés, les dingues, les inadaptés. D'ailleurs, les frères Coen, Spike Lee ou encore Robert Redford ne s'y sont pas trompés. Alors quand Nanni Moretti lui offre dans Mia Madre le rôle d'un acteur insupportable qui rend la vie dure à une réalisatrice dont la vie personnelle s'écroule, l'occasion est trop belle d'interroger John Turturro sur son drôle de métier.
81-23.
Azione.
John, I was wondering why it was attractive for you to work with Nanni Moretti.
He's a terrific director, period. And I liked the part, and then we met and we discussed making it, adding some things to it. And I didn't know how out there he wanted it until I worked with him, and then he really kept pushing me to go further and further. And I learned the role completely in Italian, and then he said, no, it's too good now, he has to be not as good. And so it was very challenging, but very stimulating.
Azione!
Chi era quella ragazza?
Ma dice la ragazza? Dice la ragazza. Non ho capito chi è che ti ha insegnato la ragazza.
La ragazza, Barry, la ragazza.
E adesso glielo dici?
Chi era quella ragazza? Del sindacato?
No, non credo.
Un imprenditore italiano?
Cosa dice, imprenditore?
Your character is narcissistic,
Yes.
monomaniac. He dreams that other actors want to kill him.
Yeah.
So, how were you inspired?
I don't think I'm that kind of actor. I've had fights with directors and things, but I've seen really extreme behavior. I've seen people show up not prepared, not be a team player, take over the set, drive the costume person crazy, So I've seen, and Nani wrote it without, he wrote it based on his experiences, So it's something that he understands. So I was like, oh God,
Stanley was crazy about me.
Non hai mai lavorato con Stanley Kubrick? Non ho mai lavorato con Stanley Kubrick, pare sei ridicolo, perché sei un coglione!
And what is the worst part of you as an actor?
The worst part of me?
The crazy part, maybe?
No, I'm not. I'm crazy more in my work. I've played quiet roles, and I've played, really, you could say out there parts. I've played all kinds of parts. I would say now that if I'm mistreated, if I get, angry or something about it for a reason, I wouldn't want to be the other person sometimes.
I can't say I had a fucking crash over here.
No, non credo. No, non credo.
I can't see a fucking thing. I can't see a fucking thing.
No, non credo.
Yeah, I don't credo. There's fucking people.
No, non credo.
I got stop! Stop the fucking nonsense! Stop!
I've learned to become friends with the crew from directing and from acting in movies, and I think that really, I find a lot of enjoyment, not just the other actors, with the crew. At first, they were like the other people. Because I was from the theater, I was like, what are they doing, with these cameras and stuff, and then you realize, okay, we're all together, it's like a dance. You're walking and the other guy's moving, and so you have to enjoy that.
It's about a director who tries to make a film while she has to deal with her mother being sick, her daughter being away, and we all have to deal both with work and life.
That's right.
And as an actor or a director, how do you cope with real life when you're working?
Well,
do you try to forget everything?
No, I try to, when I used to work, and travel a lot, it was before cell phones. So I would always talk to my older son or write him like stories sometimes while I was on a set with drawings. And it was, it's hard to maintain even one, so that's why people get divorced all the time, and they go, because you're living a different life. I actually have to say, I actually never said this, actually, but I've always feared something really bad happening, while I'm far away working, and it happened to me. And it was really it affected me for years afterwards. It was one of the hardest things I've ever gone through in my life. And just because I wasn't, not that you could really do anything.
Yeah, but the fact to be there.
But
yeah.
to be there.
Yeah. And to talk about maybe lighter things, when you arrive on the set, it can be a good day, it can be a bad day because you're in a bad mood, even if nothing serious happens.
That can happen, yes.
And so how do you do? Do you have to
I usually
be
try to
professional,
exercise.
or do you use these emotions maybe to feel?
Sometimes, but say you didn't sleep well and there's a lot of pressure and sometimes people are not sensitive to what you're trying to do while you're waiting, while they're lighting. And so sometimes people I've gotten, upset, sometimes say, hey, you have to give me a chance to do my work too. Also, if you do an emotional scene over and over and over again, it can affect your nervous system. Even a funny scene, if you do it over and over and over again, you're doing something not once, you're doing it many, many, many times. And so you can get into this other world where you're a little bit, I'm usually conscious of what's going on. I can step outside, I do know that I'm in a movie.
The definition of acting according to your character is that it's fake, like my own life. That's what he said.
Well, sometimes I think when you do things that you can feel that way. And then there's other times you say, no, I'm telling a story that's going to, it's going to help people feel less alone, make them laugh, take them away from their own problems in life, which is important too, But yes, at its worst, it can feel like you say, what the hell am I doing? Then it becomes a job, and then it can become really fake. So I try to keep the amateur alive in me.
Pour garder foi en son métier, John Turturro avoue avoir besoin de se ressourcer au théâtre et derrière la caméra. Avec un projet un peu fou, mais la solution idéale pour ne pas subir des caprices d'acteurs, réaliser un film où il ne dirigera que des réalisateurs.